What's going on? Coach Haas here. Welcome back. We are doing this live show recording for uh, the Hassania Training Day podcast. So happy to have you here. As you know, I'm trying to multitask. It may work out, I may not. We're going to get started. Today, we're talking about wrestling. In the episode, the lessons I've learned from wrestling for 6 years, it was probably the best experiences I've had as a coach. As back in the day, but also coaching people the past 10 years. So let me just get the audio started, and then we will get going into the podcast. All right. So like we said, welcome back. Haas here. We are rolling, getting ready to start another podcast episode. Thank you for coming in. I think it's episode 28, 29. My VA will help me out with that because that is not my strong suit. But here we are talking about wrestling, right? And not WWE, not WWE, not the Triple H. Even though The Rock is the best wrestler, let me know who the best wrestler is. Is it Stone Cold Steve Austin? Is it The Rock? Oh, this is not. Oh yeah, it's on. Oh, those experience some technical difficulties. All right, is it The Rock? Is it let me know your favorite wrestler, right? I think it's The Rock, right? The People's Elbow. I used to do that to my twin brother all the time. But I want to talk about wrestling. So it's just a little more about me. Came from Freeport High School. 02 to 06. Wrestled, I think, 135, 145, 10 county, 10 state, and Greco and freestyle wrestling. I think it's the greatest sport known to man. I get super excited. Say what you want about wrestling, but I just know wrestling teaches. If everybody in this world wrestled, this world would be a better place, right? So I think some politicians have wrestled, some presidents have wrestled. Abe Lincoln was a great wrestler. I mean, you go down the line, there's so many wrestlers contributing positively to society, and they're just average, and then also just regular everyday people like teachers, coaches, myself, just helping people out through the lessons of wrestling. And I want to help these lessons, hopefully these lessons I've learned from wrestling will not only make you hopefully think about some things differently, but get you some results that you really want, man. So I know that it's important. Let's dive right in. I already talked about that. So a little more about wrestling practice. Wrestling practice was from 3 to 6 as a young man. There wasn't any sets, reps. It was extreme conditioning and extreme conditions, very hot. Sweating through 3, 4, 5 shirts, losing 8 to 10 pounds. Sometimes you can even lose up to 11. You can lose 15 pounds in a day in wrestling. Not saying this is the smartest thing, but this is that's just the norm of wrestling. Like, you're competing at lower weight classes, walk around a little bit heavier. So when people are like, oh, I'm in my goal weight, I know I kind of have a good idea of what that's going to take, the mentality for people to go through to get to their goal weight. It's nothing short of sacrifice, a lot of grit, and just delayed gratification, and a team and family to support you. That's what we try to cultivate in our online community. So here are my top weight loss lessons, okay? Number 1, all right, so here we go. If counting calories makes you miserable, you're going to have to make a mindset shift. Counting calories is no other than being aware of what you're taking in, what you're eating, and how it's affecting your weight, how you feel, how you look, all that stuff. With wrestling, one of the things I did, I used to walk around like 152, 150, and I would just I don't even remember how I made weight. It just wasn't the right way, to be honest. It was just a whole bunch of, it was like jump roping, it was live wrestling, it was drilling, more live wrestling, and drilling, more live wrestling, until just the weight just eventually came off. I used to wake up in the morning and do like they call it fasted cardio, but it was just, I don't even know if you could call it back then. It just sucked. You had the cotton mouth, like I have right now. You had the cotton mouth. Everything just hurt. They're trying to make weight. Just crazy stories, but life character building lessons, I should say. So counting calories would have been a much smarter way to go about it. Like, if I had a nutritionist or just had the, I guess, awareness and I don't know, if I just had the ability to count calories and know what to eat when and how much, it probably would have been much more pleasant. Wouldn't have been injured half as much. I wouldn't have been as miserable. So for you, I want you to learn from this is counting calories can actually get you ahead of the curve now and get you closer to results, faster to your success. And especially, listen, if you're paying money to see results, why not get the most ROI and count your calories so that you actually get the results? I think that's a lost cause. People are just winging it like I was, And I was like 8% body fat, 7% body fat, even though I was 15, but I was miserable, man, like, because I wasn't counting calories. Counting calories it is science, and you cannot argue the science of weight loss. It's 100% a calorie deficit. Weight loss is a calorie gain. And if you're not counting calories and you're just winging it, doesn't matter how many elliptical, cardio, and rowing or what program you do. If you're not taking care of your nutrition, it's not going to work. Sleep and nutrition, it's not your weight's not going to come off. There's no super hacks. It's just simple, fundamental, basic rules. Universal weight loss rules. Calorie deficit, sleep, knowing what you're taking in, activity levels, the food you're eating, all that stuff, stress management. Okay. All right. So number one, count the calories. The mindset shift that you need to have is like, can't be miserable. Like, this can't be miserable. I'm looking to improve my life. I'm looking to change my life. So I have to be aware of what I'm doing. That's it. It's not meant to take your fun out of the weekends or, whatever the case is. But I will say this. The reason you're probably not your goal weight is because you're having too much fun on the weekends. You're drinking too much. You're fucking around too much. You don't know what you're doing. I know for check-ins, some of my clients, when they're not hitting their weight goals or whatever, or they're just not hitting results, I'll just simply ask, can we see your calories for the past, your food intake for the past 10 to 14 days? Guarantee you there's a lot of missed days. And generally when people miss days, that means they're fucking around, right? They only tell you the days that they've had 100% compliance or the food it's like, how can you be gaining weight if you're eating everything I'm telling you, or you're following your meal? It's like, yeah, a lot of stuff is not adding up. So what happens is you start having 1 or 2 bad days and you just snowpile, and it's 3 or 4 days later, say that's on a Thursday night, you fuck around on a Friday, Saturday, it's Sunday, now you're back Monday, you want to weigh in, and now you are overweight. I shouldn't say wait, you're up a few pounds and now you're upset. Now you're trying to get the Pooties and the waist trainers and the extreme weight loss measurements, manners, and all that's nonsense. Keep it simple, keep it basic. If you mess up or fall a little bit out of compliance, just get right back into it. That's all. All right. Wrestling was the ultimate game of persistence, resilience, getting back into it. Like if you lost a wrestle match in high school, you didn't have time, maybe had a little time to stop, but you were right back in within an hour, getting on the mats again, getting right back after it in the wrestlebacks. Nobody felt sorry for you. So it's the same thing with life. It's the same thing with these results. These results don't feel sorry for you. It's just what it is. Who gets them gets it. Whoever decides to discipline themselves, put in the work, cut the excuses, you'll get the results. But if you're looking to have a good life all the time, then we got to earn. It's in a way you got to think of it. Let's earn these results. And this is the simple, boring stuff. Counting calories, hydrating, freaking boring. All right. All right. So here's number 2 is more like a myth. Like sweating more doesn't make you feel like sweating more does not mean that you're losing the weight. So it's poor indications of a good workout. I used to sweat through shirts all the time. I was super tired because, like people would pay let's not get into that. Let me just finish this. Super tired, super exhausted. I remember my best friend, Ty. Me and him, we would just be trading for hours, man. Ty, Dre, my brother, Lowe's, John. We had a great team over there in Freeport too. Coach Whalen. Great times, right? But sweating more never meant I was getting healthier, getting more weight. Actually, at this point, I was actually doing way more harm than good. I was breaking myself down, not hydrating, not getting good sleep because I was starving, going to bed hungry, not because my mother did not feed me, but because I was trying to make weight. So I love wrestling, but I remember just these long weigh-ins to the scale, long walks, I should say. And I was like sweating, always trying to break a sweat to just get down. And that's what you see a lot in UFC fighters. That's why I put an earlier podcast that I feel bad for Charlie Oliveira. We tried the sauna suits, all those laxative stuffs, all that stuff. And it just was a temporary fix. Like we said before, a much better concept would have been to know your calories, what you're eating, right? What you're eating. That's simple. Last quick side story is remember I was training people at Fit Body, or when I was at Siege, running my personal boot camp during COVID. Of course, within the regulations, all right, that Dr. Fauci made. People would say, "Hey, listen, man, I want to focus more on. I want to lose these weight. I want to sweat a lot more. I want to feel sore. I want to feel like I'm doing something, like I left here." And these are older people, well, older, like 45, 35, I'm 35, 34, I don't want to say older, close to middle-aged people. And it's like they want to go on a crash course to sweating their butt off to see a lighter weight scale. And I would just say, that doesn't matter. Sweating means nothing. Like, we just got out of a heat wave. How many people hit their goal weights in a heat wave over here? It was 100, felt like 100 degrees, 98 degrees. Did you sweat? Did anybody hit their weight loss goals during these past heat waves? Hell no. Hell no. So let's think about this. You're hurting yourself. You're doing more harm than good just trying to punish yourself and sweat out the bottle of tequila you drank, or some bad tacos you think you had last night. Just let's put this in perspective. Let's have a much smarter, more rational, age-appropriate, age-responsive results so that you can have a long-term change. You never have to hire a fitness coach again. You can feel good, look good, and just be happy and not feel like this is such a drag. Okay, keep checking, make sure my mic is on, because sometimes it's joint turn off. If you're on a video and watch me on YouTube, you can see that. All right. So sweating doesn't mean, so what does matter? Getting strong over time, improving your conditioning, how your pictures look, how you look naked. Don't send me any naked pics. My clients were saying I don't want to see the naked pics. The guidelines. Ultimately, how you feel about yourself. How do you your energy levels throughout the day? And yeah, you can put in scale weight, but scale weight should be with an asterisk if you're following your meal plan and doing everything. But don't expect any miracles if you don't know what the hell you're eating. All right, or just because you're sweating. I used to sweat through shirts at a time. I used to be able to drench. Like how you how you wring a towel out, like at the pool or the beach or the shower. That's what my shirts used to look like. I used to go through shirts, 2-3 shirts a day, but anyway. Okay, so number 3, HIIT training is not, this is one of the things I've noticed about, HIIT training is not for everybody, right? So when I was wrestling, it was HIIT every day. Well, 4 days out of the 5 or 6 days, right? Depending on the week, competitions. We used to it was just some days I remember, like, I get out of class. I think my last class was English, ninth period English, which was the worst. And I would just go to my freaking locker room, the red locker room in the hallway right next to the auditorium. And I used to just know, like, I'll never forget, we was going to Baldwin the next day, wrestling at Baldwin. And I was just doing this long walk into the basement. And it's like, when you walk into the basement, automatically the smell changed, the environment changed. It went from like happy and like kids just playing around to just like, it felt like boot camp. The scent changed. It was just sweat, and it just put you in the mindset like, I'm about to get to work, And I think that was important in the environment. That's why like wrestlers are so close. It's like you're in an enclosed room. It's 105 degrees. You're basically in Arizona all year. Um, and you're doing high intensity cardio, for lack of better words, right? You're wrestling. In my opinion, like I just remember some of the most toughest workouts made prepared me for just like parenthood, you know, and like business stuff and I guess like relationship stuff and all that, you know. But that was when I was 14 through 18. Now I'm 34. There's no way in hell I would do that now. And that's what I want you to know. You want to hear more about wrestling stories? Let me know. I have tons of them, right? Especially that time we went to Binghamton. Taco Bell story at Binghamton, if you want to know, remind me. Okay. HIIT training's not for everybody, right? So these are one of the problems I see in like group training now. And I love group training. I was a head coach for a few years. Worked at several gyms, especially like HIIT training's not for everybody. It's a lot on your joints. It's a lot on your body. And as an older person, the more flexibility, dehydration that you have, lack of flexibility, lack of mobility, more stress, just trying to rush to get shit through, you're going to have an injury. So if you think about it, here, give you a real life story. Say you worked out and, sorry. I'll give you a story. So I was at Fit Body Boot Camp. We used to do orientations for like new people, right? We would make sure to get, build a clientele, good business stuff, right? Have them meet us, give them a background of the story, tell them why lasagna is the best dish, why Eli Manning is the best quarterback, whatever the case is, let them see the coaches. We had a great staff there. Clients were great as well, so they would see the environment, would see what it's like, right? So this one lady came, she wanted to lose weight for a wedding, or vacation actually, so I got a bird. She wanted to lose weight for a vacation. She wanted to lose weight for a wedding or vacation. I forget. But she was very aggressive and said she was coming to 2 classes a day, and she paid up front, like 2 or 3 months up front, which is great. Commitment was what we like to see at all levels. She came into the workout and she was like, hey, listen, I am, ready to go. She got a little sweat, little towel, little water bottle, everything we said, right? Sleeping, all this shit. We were like, hey, listen, this is HIIT. You want to take it easy. She was an older lady. She basically did HIIT for the first 1 or 2 days, never saw her again, all right? So in my mind, I'm like, we just, we do calling, follow up, make sure everything is okay. But at the same time, it was upsetting because like, hey, this lady was very committed. She was a nice person, but she tried HIIT and she did it the wrong way. It was too much burpees, too much rope slams, which is maybe my fault. Probably it was my fault. Too many kettlebell swings, too much intensity, too much yelling, too much, just whatever the case is, it's too much of a shock as an older person. And I feel like if you would have had an easier, more, let me slowly introduce you to somebody, to something, to this, and then you work your way up, you had a much more higher chance of success. Hey, Monday, go 50%, see how you feel. Check it out. Do a little bit, go lighter weight. Try less rope slams. You rest a little bit more. Come back Wednesday. Come back Saturday. Go home and hydrate and recover. You're going to feel like hell. Because high intensity is very intense, right? It's freaking intense. And then maybe she would have saw it through, It's like dating. Like, you got to commit to the right game of fitness at this point. Let's clip that. All right? You got to commit to the right game of fitness. Maybe HIIT's not for you. It's a lot of things, your age, your lifestyle, your injuries, all that stuff, prior experiences, whatever, right? Trauma from crazy ass boot camp people. It was this boot camp in Long Island named it's an army boot camp basically. And they haze people. And I saw it. It was awesome to watch, but it wasn't fun. Like they were crazy. So let's think about that. Imagine getting married. Imagine on a first date, these red flags that you see and you just jump into it, right? Terrible stuff, right? All right, so number 4, we're wrapping up soon. So number 4, the number on the scale isn't really worth your sanity. That's the thing. I used to wake up at like 5 a.m. as a high school student, and I would jump on the scale. And I would pray to God that Tropicana strawberry lemonade juice I had after wrestling practice, which was the wrong thing to do, and the rice cake with 4 drops of water did not put me overweight, and hopefully I can make it through the day to get to the tournament, right? And every time that scale said 147.6, 146.9, you only had to be, if I was wrestling 145, I had to be 140. I could be, the most I could be was 146. It's called a 1 pound allowance. And I would be like, because that would determine my day. That would determine how I felt, how I, you know, classes. I'd be falling asleep in classes. Like, this is not the right way to do if you're listening and you're a high school wrestler or just a businessman trying to get in shape for whatever reason, or dad, and you're like, I got this extreme deadline, and you're losing on other parts of life because you worried about this scale, right? Fasting for long periods of time, missing out on meetings and schedules, avoiding people. This is a sign that maybe you're on the wrong path, right? There's going to be ups and downs, just like the scale. One day you're going to be down 5 pounds, one day you're going to be up. It's just water fluctuation, right? Google like glycogen and water retention and sodium. Learn a little bit about that, because you're going to make yourself miserable. You shouldn't be counting the grains of rice. You know, it shouldn't be that kind of mentality. It should be more so like, all right, so this food made me feel heavier or inflamed, you know, whatever the case is. What options can I replace with this? If it's rice for you, you could do zucchini noodles, zoodles. You know, jasmine rice is great. You could do brown rice. Sweet potatoes are a lighter option. Chickpeas are a lighter option. Let's clip these protein sources. Chickpeas, vegetable protein, right? Chickpeas. Broccoli's not bad. Well, let's not get into the politics about broccoli. We'll stay on that. Lentils, lentil bean soup, chickpeas, zucchinis. Stop drinking so much soda and have less ice cream if there's, because I don't think you should have any ice cream if you're trying to hit a goal into, well, they'll come back to that. I'll have to maybe resend that. Focus on your plate portions, your plate makeup, track your food. Like, this is all the basic stuff. And if you need help, you can shoot me a DM, Instagram, Hassania, whatever the case is, right? Training Day Podcast. Once again, if this is helpful, leave us a review so we know. Okay. And then last but not least, let's wrap it up. Number 5. Recovery is much more important than you think. All right. You want to think of yourself 15 years out from now, right? What are you going to feel like and look like in 15 years? I don't know. I'm in shape decently. I've had a lot of help from like physical therapy, emotional therapy, regular a diet now, a decent workout plan. I have coaches myself. That's because I did not handle my recovery when I was in 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and probably years after that, when I was just lifting till failure, lifting until Arnold would be happy. Let's clip that. Stop lifting for Arnold, right? Lift for yourself, lift for your life, lift for your goals. You're not Arnold. All right. If you don't want to be an aspiring bodybuilder, you don't need to be working out 2 hours a day. All right. You got a job, you got a family, you got a business. You got yourself to spend care. Take care of your own shit, man. All right. Arnold is Arnold. He got paid for that. Okay. So let's keep that in mind. Recovery, sleeping 6 to 8 hours a night, meditating, handling your emotional wellness. Go to talk therapy if you need to have therapy. Some people really need all this shit to get in shape, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I understand coming out of COVID, going through whatever you go through in life, it can be heavy. It can be very, very heavy. And lifting, squatting isn't going to always evaporate these issues, or bench pressing. Like, I remember when I was the most stressed and anxious. I don't want to say borderline depressed, because like, I just don't think that was the case. But I will say stressed and very anxious. In my most anxious state, I would just go to the gym and I would lift as much as heavenly possible, or I'll go to the box and hit the boxing bag and try to take it all out in there. That helps for a little while, but sometimes you need a little bit more. You got to escalate things to professionals. The dumbbell's not a professional, but it can be in most cases, right? It is now for me. But sleeping, you gotta think of it like this. Like, your body's gonna eventually break down if you don't take care of it right now. And yeah, hopefully this scares the shit out of you enough to take care of yourself. If you don't drink, hydrate, sleep, meditate, in your 30s and 40s, think about what your life's gonna look like in 50s. Like, now you're at the age now where you're smart enough that you can forecast what it feels like and looks like, right? You see these 70-year-old people walking around, 80, God bless us, who hopefully make it to 90 to 100 years old. And they, this is when shit piles up and everything starts to break down. So, sleep, hydrate, recover. Workout should be Monday, Tuesday, one break, which is today for me, Thursday, Friday, and then focus nothing on sleep and recovery on Saturday and Sunday, in my opinion, right? You can have it fit your schedule if you like, or your lifestyle, however it is. Naps are great during the day if you can't sleep, if you're nocturnal, you have a new baby. Like, all this can be just customized for your lifestyle. We just don't want to hear any excuses. Clip that. We don't want to hear any excuses. Everybody's busy. Before I go on this rant about people don't have the time, just think about this for a minute. Maya Angelou, I was reading a story from Robert Greene. Can't remember, one of the Stoicism books that I love. And Maya Angelou was one of the people who was profiled in this thing, right? In this story. Okay, so Maya Angelou worked a full-time job. She was a young mother of two boys. And she obviously was one of the greatest writers of all time. So, and I believe she was a single woman at this time. I don't know, whatever she... no, it wasn't Maya. It was Terry. Let me make sure I got my facts right. Hold on. Let me check. It was Terry. Hold on. I believe it's Maya Angelou. I will say this. If I'm wrong, Nico, take out this. If I'm wrong, Nico, take out this. Take out this clip. I'm going wrong. I'm going hard. I believe it's Maya Angelou. I can't see because my internet's running a little slow. But this is my whole point, right? Maya Angelou did just like this. She would get up at 6 a.m. Why? Or 5 a.m. Why? Because she said that the obligations and responsibilities of being a mom weren't existent at this time. So she would wake up, she would write, handle her mom duties, which, as we know, don't never end. Then she would go to work as like a publisher or an editor for like Townhill Publishing Company or something like that. And then she would still find a way to not only be a mom, not only hold down a job, but also produce like eternal literary works, that we're still discussing today. She didn't let time, or I didn't know how to do this, or it's too tired. You're always going to be freaking tired. Let's get to work. This lady got it done as a parent of two little boys, writing books and excelling her career, her other business venture, essentially working two jobs. Didn't complain, just found a way to get it done. And that's what I want to impose on to you. You may not be in the best circumstance. You may not feel like you are equipped for this and you want to, your gym's too far. It's just like, come on, man. Come on. There's people who've done it with less. There's people who've done it with less. So think about that. If this was helpful, here's what I need you to do. Go to Training Day Podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple. You should be on YouTube as well. 5-star review. Let's connect on Instagram. Drop me some questions. Hassan, I put all my information in the show notes. If you want to work with us, complete our one-on-one application, we'll give you a customized program, check-ins, make sure you get the results, give you our 30-day money-back guarantee for a short time. So make sure you act on that now if you're seeing this, because it's going to be posted later. Once again, grateful, thankful for your time and attention. Hope it was worth it. Peace.